in his week 1 work. Now, Ketut's ordinary training is really well. His handler has done a great job as far as bringing his obedience up to par. So this first day, it's actually day 2, is just us running over his basic foundation skills to make sure that he has those really concrete, because it's going to be very important for what I'm going to be doing with him as far as his behaviorism goes later in the week. Now, Ketut is here because he needs a little help in his social behaviors. He's a little underconfident when it comes to other dogs, especially if those other dogs are high energy. He just doesn't know how to deal with them very well, so he sometimes will act out in a growl or a snap or something like that. And it's just his way of telling those dogs that he'd like for them to get away from him, and it's not overly aggressive whatsoever. However, because his owner has a lot of fosters that come in and out, we want to make sure that we have good control over him and help him to understand that there are certain positions that he can go into or certain behaviors that he can display if he's ever uncomfortable around another dog. It's also important for us to be able to instill some confidence in him from a distance using verbal commands when another dog is approaching him, and that will help him be able to basically, quote, survive certain situations without having to growl or snap or anything like that. Because when dogs are approaching a situation or have gone through a situation, they judge that situations by how they survive it or how they've reacted to it. So if a dog was nervous and, quote, survived that situation by growling or snapping, he's going to do it again because that's how he survived it the first time. It's their basic primal mentality, and we just want to be able to help them come out of that and use it in a different way. So you're going to see next, we're going to go into the end of the week, which is day 6. Now I have 3 dogs in here total. We have Ketut, Herman is the German Shorthair Pointer, and Tony is the dog off in the side there. He's a black-mouthed cur mix who is adoptable. Now this is the first time that Ketut has met either of these dogs. And I want you to notice how well he's responding. He's kind of just ignoring Herman. Now Herman is one of our level 3 students. He's very well trained and calm. Most of the time he does have high energy though, which is why I wanted to use him with Ketut. Now Herman approaches Ketut there, and Ketut moves away, which is exactly what we want him to do. So here what I've done is just called the 2 together and had them lying and sitting near each other. I'm going to call Herman in again. Very good. Now notice I don't take my hand off of Ketut because Ketut is doing exactly what I want him to do. He's holding that seated position even though there's some strange dogs around him, and then I send them all off to go and do whatever it is that they want to do. So I'm going to call in Tony here. This is just a quick spotlight on Tony because our boy Tony is adoptable and he's very well trained. He loves to interact with some of the other dogs that we have. He's come a long, long way thanks to the efforts of Crew to Rescue in Mobile and his foster Elsie. So we're hoping that his last couple weeks here with us will get him a good permanent home. So calling in Herman here, going to have him sit down. Wonderful. And then we're going to call in, who's coming up? Tony's going to come up. Alright, we're bringing in Tony, and Ketut's going to come with him. Now this here, I kept this in the video because I want you to see that Ketut was still wagging his tail whenever Tony was approaching him and introducing. So I give lots and lots of praise to Ketut after the fact, not while they're interacting, because I don't want to get involved in their communication. They need to figure that out for themselves. Ketut gets the praise after the fact, and then he can associate the proper thing. Now you can see I gave him a little tap there with the stick because I wanted him to sit down while Tony is coming in again. And the reason I use that stick when I have dogs that are a little uncomfortable or have any social problems is because I don't want my hands or face in between them whatsoever. So the stick, I use it very, very lightly, just as the same way that I would use my hand to tap a dog or poke a dog to get his attention. But the stick just kind of keeps it for our safety. So I'm going to work Tony just a little bit here, call in Herman. You can see that Tony just wants to get some attention, wants to roll around and have fun. And very good interaction there. So what I like to see is that the dogs are interacting but in a controlled setting. You're going to see in a second here Tony's going to want to come up and play with Herman, and Herman's going to want to come up and play with Tony, and that gets them both a little bit excited. But it keeps everybody on an even playing field. As long as I'm here and directing everyone what I want them to do using verbal commands, because everyone does have some training under their belt, it helps keep all the situation calm. Because Tony and Ketut both have underconfidence. And you can't really tell by this video because they are very confident in me handling them around these new dogs and being able to work them around. So here Herman's going to come up, pounce Tony, and that's fine. What he's doing is trying to get him to play with him. And I wanted you guys to see that because Tony responded really well. He got surprised which I think anybody would, but he didn't respond aggressively or anything like that, and he came right back to me to make sure that he had done the right thing. So here they're going to play, and off they go. And Ketut's just like, what is going on over there? And that's fine. This is what I want Ketut to do. Now again, watch Ketut's little tail. A little bit of movement, and he moves away when I ask him to, which is exactly what we want. No growling, no kind of aggression whatsoever, and Tony and Herman can go off and play as they love to. So that is all very good work for all three dogs, especially Tony and Ketut. I'm very proud of their progress so far, and I think that they're going to show really good promise by the end of the program. Ketut already has some great training under him, and I think he's going to do very, very well.